How's it going, traders? It's the Pup of Wall Street back with another weekend review. Today we're going to look at my top 10 charts going into next week. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below so you can get these actionable trade ideas as soon as they come out. And if you can, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about these chart videos. And also, feel free to level up and watch these videos on 1.5x if you feel like I'm talking too slow. So, let's dig into the charts. First up, we are looking at AEHR. This is a chip testing system, and you can see we have a nice channel that we've been in since the gap up at around $4. We had a nice channel bottom test there, another nice channel test bottom there, and now we're starting to push back higher. You see we've had about, I'd say about 2.5 weeks of really nice price action off of these lows, starting to build a bit of a volume shelf here. And so what I'm watching for is a move back over all-time highs, 2707, and I'd be targeting 3062 and 3513. You can see we're already 6 dots into a squeeze. That generally will give us maybe 2 to 4 more days of price action, but sometimes these squeezes can continue higher, and what I would be watching for is, as we come into overbought territory on RSI, will this continue to rise or will we plateau and start to come back down? So what I'm thinking is if we do break this 2707, it's a very good chance that, we'll have maybe a little pullback test on that center channel and then possibly a move back up to the top of the channel, as we've seen the top of the channel here acting as resistance. So just keep in mind, like we saw here, right? We had a move up, a pullback, a move up, a pullback, a move up, a pullback, a move up. Right here we have a move up, slight pullback right here. If we do have another move up, just watch for the pullbacks. The pullbacks are where I like to buy for the moves higher. So that's AEHR. Next up is Ford. So Ford has been really pretty strong for the last, I would say for the last year. You could see pretty much for June to October, we built a nice base here, right? Nice rounded base. Ever since we broke out, we came pretty much from 1650 up to 2050, and then we've been basing again here between around $18 to $20, and now it looks like we have a wedge formation here. So what I'm watching for on Ford is a break over 2101 or 2150, which is this inverted hammer candle high right there. Either two shall work. Right up to, actually no, it was 2125. Targets would be 2146, which is our highs right here, and then 2210, 2270, and then 2292 for our 1618 extension off of that swing high, swing low. You can see RSI hasn't quite broken out yet, but we did back test 50 and held twice. And we have a nice slingshot squeeze that's 2 dots fired in. So similar to our last chart, right? We're only 2 dots in. Usually these squeezes last anywhere from 6 to 8, sometimes upwards of 10 candles. So we might have another 6 to 8 candles of upward movement if we get this breakout here on the squeeze firing. MACD is a little bit tangled, so that's just one thing to watch. If we get that breakout, we should get that MACD crossover, and then we'll be off to the races. Next up is FCX. This is a copper play. You can see we broke our falling wedge here, came right into that $40 level and basically stopped right below it, came into it again, stopped right below it, and then on this candle we broke out, had a nice continuation, spinning top, and then we broke back down under 40. Now last week, I think this was actually the week prior on Friday, we broke out again. Then last week we had basically, it's mostly a consolidation week, inverted hammer into our 4264 target, and then basically a spinning top right below that. Now that spinning top came right back at that previous high, so I'm going to watch for a continuation over 4264, targeting 4605 to the upside. We're 5 dots into our squeeze, which might give us another 3 to 5 days of TTM squeeze momentum to the upside. We didn't quite reach overbought territory here, and we did get that MACD crossover back here. So still looking pretty strong and pretty good for FCX. Again, this is a copper play. Next up is HD. If you received my my weekend newsletter, this is my pick of the week for this week. We had a nice bullish candle at the end of Friday, closed up pretty strong. Going to be watching for a break over 416.50, targeting 420.61, which was our previous all-time high. Then 432 and 436, possibly 446 for the top of this broadening formation. So again, we've had a pretty strong move off of the bottom here. So you have to expect there might be some consolidation before we break out, or we might get that breakout retest consolidation and then bounce. So just a couple of things to watch for on HD, but the couple of things that I really liked about this chart, RSI is already starting to break out. Squeeze did fire to the downside, but it looks like it's slinging back up. So kind of a slingshot squeeze right there. And a MACD is starting to cross over right here. So, and we're also building a nice volume shelf here. So a lot of these things are what I look for when I want to enter a trade. So far so good, looking pretty good. Let's just keep a close eye on HD this week. Next up is Micron, ticker MU. So this one, we've been in it already. We've traded it multiple times in the last couple of months. Latest trade was on this peg play, right? We got that breakout right over $90, and we hit two targets, our $94.30 and our $97 targets. So we're starting to consolidate a little bit. I'm going to watch how this comes into our gap up anchored VWAP. I want to see, do we get a bounce off of that and a push back higher to retest these highs at 97.02? That's what I would be watching. Now, of course, if we fail under that, then I would watch for a retest of $90, basically 90.28, which is our 786 retracement from that swing high right there to that swing low right there. RSI had a nice bounce off of 50. We are about 6 dots into our squeeze. MACD already crossed over. So I think we're probably closer to a top here. So I would be cautious if you haven't already profited on this trade, or if you're not in this trade, just be careful taking the trade up here. This looks more like a buy the pullback bounce candidate than buy the breakout type of candidate. So just be careful buying any breakouts on MU. Next up is NVIDIA. Another one that's really struggled with 300. You could see we had a false breakout here. We had we had a breakout and then a false breakout the next day here. I believe that was on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we basically just sold off. So looks still fine. It still looks really good. I think as long as we hold over 288 on NVIDIA, I'm still watching that retest and break over 300. RSI did break out, but started to flatline right at 50. TTM squeeze did fire down, but it didn't really push us down that much. And MACD is starting to kind of flatten out here. So just keep a close eye on NVIDIA through 300. Next up is Roblox. Been watching the call flow on Roblox the last 2 weeks. It's been pretty interesting. It's been pretty bullish. So looks like Roblox is potentially ready to start making a move. We already breaking out on RSI. Of course, we had this gap up wave 3 on our falling wedge. Wave 3 top here. We had a corrective ABC wave, possible 1-2 setup right here. I'm just going to keep a close eye on this. I do like this through 103.51, not only because it's the 1618 extension from Fibonacci, but it's also from this previous swing. It's also that anchored VWAP resistance, right? So you could see failed to break here, failed to break here, failed to break here, failed to break here. So what I'd watch for is a breakthrough 104 pretty much next week on Roblox. And I think if we break 104, we've got a pretty clear shot back up to 120. So I do like the move through here. Look at the volume gap here, right? So right now we're in our demand zone right here. So if we break above that demand zone, then my next target is going to be in the supply zone right there. And that's right around my 120 target. So that's why I like Roblox for this week. Next up is Tesla. So you can see Tesla did break out 2 weeks ago, had a nice break over RSI, no squeezes to note, but MACD did curl and cross there. We had a nice gap close, right? You had the gap back here, nice gap close bounce. 3 days of really strong price action. Our fourth day came right into my 115 target, our 1,115 target. Next day failed to break out. Next day, pull back, pull back, pull back. So this Friday was an inside day. So, my thesis is still to the upside, but when you have a big move like this, you have to expect a little bit of a pullback. So this could still pull back to about 1,000 before rolling back up. So I'm just going to keep a close eye on Tesla, but just taking in consideration, like the moves like you see here, 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 it's already shown us the personality that it can make big moves. So although we might have a consolidation week this week, I still want to keep it on my radar. I like this through 1,100. I really like this through 1,115 for a test of 1132, 1166, and then ultimately 1,200. So just keep a close eye on Tesla. Their production numbers, I believe, came out today. Probably should have did a little homework on that, but I do know that they came in above Wall Street's estimates. So it looks really, really good for an open tomorrow. So the unfortunate thing about that is we're probably going to gap up on Monday. So just keep that in mind. I wouldn't necessarily chase. I would wait for either some consolidation or possibly a pullback, gap fill, and bounce from there. So that's what I'm looking for on Tesla. Next up is ULTA. I don't believe I've ever reviewed ULTA on one of my weekend reviews, but this is a really great beauty products company. I do have a family friend or a family member, how am I saying this? A cousin of my fiance who works at ULTA, and she has nothing but really good things to say about the company. So this setup looks really interesting. We've basically been basing since August between 350 and 412, and we're right back at that 415 high from this previous candle in August. So if we do break and get a daily close over 415, then I would be watching for a move to 431, and then my final target would be upwards of 452. But ULTA looks pretty good here. And my final chart that I'm going to review today is XPEV, ticker XPEV. So you can see this falling wedge breakout. I see this as my wave 1. Then we had a long drawn out wave 2, possible wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our wave 1 here off of, basically this would be our wave 1 of 3, right? So if this is wave 1 and this is wave 2, then ultimately this means this is likely going to be wave 3. And so what I'm looking at here is a potential 1-2 setup with our 2 bottom being right there. And this potentially could be wave 3 of 3. Now wave 3 of 3 tends to be the longest wave of a 5-wave impulse move up. So the confirmation on this move is going to be over 56.37, but I really just like this over $50. I think the risk to reward is pretty decent. Maybe taking an entry on 50, keeping a stop loss at around $42. I think the upside target of around $75 to $85 is really real if this is indeed our wave 3 of 3. So that's what I'm looking at this week. As a reminder, if you can, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. It really helps. But what helps even more is if you make a comment. So whether it's just to say hi, or that you love my videos, or you hate my videos, or pup, these videos are too short, or pup, these videos are too long, it doesn't matter. Just say something. Say hi. Yeah, listen, Happy New Year, right? 2022 is going to be a very interesting year. 2020 was interesting. 2021 is very interesting as well. I think with the potential 3 rate hikes from the Fed this year, it's definitely going to be a bit more volatility in my estimation. So let's just take it day by day and week by week, and just know that I have the market covered for you. So please, if you have any questions, any comments, leave them down below. I will absolutely be answering all questions and concerns that you may have. And if you have any chart requests, of course, just leave them in the comments. I'll get to them as well. Thank you so much for all of your support in 2021. It was really a wild ride, and I'm really looking forward to giving you guys and gals as many ideas, actionable ideas as I can into 2022. So let's all work together and have a great year. So thank you very much for being with me, and I look forward to presenting some more ideas in my next video. Have a great day.